Hello and welcome to Baba Jogeshwari's Criterion Kapat, episode 2 with me, Baba Jogeshwari, where we look at the golden age of cult films and B-movies of the 70s, 80s, 90s and early 2000s, starting with. Now I know we were supposed to do episode 2 at my favorite place on earth, Victoria Library, but I have yet to tell the proprietor, Mr. Arif Merchant, about this property and the fact that he's been replaced by a new supplier. And the last thing you want is an angry, upset and jealous septuagenarian Mahimkar knowing that he's been replaced. So I hope that negotiation goes smooth. So we move on with our first film, 1999's Dracula, directed by Bhushan Lal, who has a very short filmography. I remember him directing just another film called Bhayanak Moth that probably inspired the band Bhayanak Moth, had a hat tip to the band. And this is an amazing film, but when I watch this film across the years, I see a pattern of direction and where it's quite incoherent. The second half and the first half don't match. Everything's all over the place. So it matches a particular director called Tirath Singh, who was Kanti Shah's protege, who went on to become his own beast later at the end. And I'm pretty much sure this was secretly ghost-directed by Mr. Tirath Singh also. And the wonderful thing about Mr. Tirath Singh is that his first half and second half never matched, and that is across most of his films. Especially Khuni Ilaka, the prohibited area, and a very favorite of mine, Khoon Khar Darende, in which Shakti Kapoor puts a corpse full of drugs in the ground, which comes back in the second half as a demonic baby to kill Shakti Kapoor. Now I know that doesn't make any sense, but that actually happens in the movie. So that's the wonderful thing about Tirath Singh. You will see him in many of Kanti Shah's movies in cameos. He's a Havaldar in Loha. He became something of his own, and I love the guy. I just love the guy. This also belongs to a separate category of movies called picnic films. If you can see, a lot of villains are here. So usually what used to happen back in the 90s is that a lot of these seasoned veteran actors who turned up on set wouldn't like to be the only one doing embarrassing stuff on set. So they would dial up their friends and just call them ki tu bhi free hai kya, tu bhi aa jana karke. So 4-5 friends across the industry, these villains would just land up, and they would land up also because all the deals would happen in direct cash, and they would get like 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs per day, and that was, they would shoot for countless hours with that money, and that money was worth something back in the day. So and the fun thing is that they would land up at shooting, but they would never end up dubbing. So all these guys would be dubbed by just one person, maybe Vinod Tripathi or maybe Sadashiv himself. So none of these voices match in the film. So Dracula is a must watch. I think Bhushan Lal himself is also playing Dracula in this film. I think at least the producer is definitely playing Dracula in this film. And with continuing the spirit of picnic films, we have another picnic film called Bhuka Sher. So this belongs also not only to a group called the group of picnic films. This also belongs to the group of drunk dharam films, which starts from 1988's Mahavira and ends up all the way till 2003 and 4, where he ended up working up with Kanti Shah. If anyone tells you that Dharampaji and his family pulverized Kanti Shah, that's a false rumor. They pulverized the producer. Please get that straight. Kanti and Dharam were very good friends. Dharam loved Kanti. Tu mera puttar hai karke bola. This has been told to me by an actor, very clarified on the phone and stuff. So Bhuka Sher is one of the last bastions of the drunk Dharam era, where he's sloshed and completely powered by Black Label. There's a bunch of actors that the director Surinder Kuku Kapoor, Google who's that, he has called up, and they've all landed. This is Sudhir, Shiva, Raza Murad, Amritpal. All of them have landed up at Trombay, having the time of their lives and just like going through it. Now the wonderful thing about this movie is that Surinder Kuku Kapoor shot Bhuka Sher, but made 2 films out of the same negative. One is Zakhmi Sherni, and the third I don't have on disc is called Takdeer Ka Sikandar. They're virtually the same movies, except the editing for the rest of the 2 movies are in such a way that Sapna, who's the victim in movie 1, becomes heroine in number 2, And in Takdir Ka Sikandar, it's just B-roll after B-roll of what they've shot. In one of the shots is actually Dharampaji holding his crotch and mocking someone after punching him. And that's gone in the finished movie. So, if there's something to be upset about, that is the shot, but it's wonderful. It's actually avant-garde, if you ask me. At number 3, we have the last two films by Mr. Joginder, that is Adam Kaur Hasina from 2002 and Son of Dracula by 2005. These are the last films ever made by the cult legend Mr. Joginder between 1999 and 2005. Those were the last years he was ever making films. And he was making films, I think 2-3 in a year, and his film company was also called Jet Speed Filmmakers. I'm not even kidding. I think he lost a lot of money in these years while he was making them. These are fantastic movies, but I think he has completely lost the plot. I mean, the screenplay wasn't tight. In fact, the screenplay was so incoherent that he forgot who's the villain and the hero in the film. And at the end of the day, like Son of Dracula had so little money that I think his own cinematographer directed this movie. And the producers of this movie is none other than Sony Moni Electronics of JB Nagar Andheri. So, but let's not. These are the twilight years of this man, and they still rock. These have extremely great stories, extremely great practical effects. I think they have wonderful. Like this, I think there's some scenes that are just like me and my friends are still not able to decode today. There's one scene where Poonam Dasgupta throws a ball to another vamp, but there's a photo of another producer that breaks. We haven't been able to decode it since 2007. Okay, it's just like insane. And Son of Dracula is something you guys have to watch. It has one of my favorite demonic baby movies. It is really nice. But as I was discussing, as I said before, that Joginder is one of our greatest cult movie makers. He was so unhinged and unfiltered that the industry threw him out, sidelined him for a while until he had to really beg borrow steal to make films. He was the first one who came up with putting nudie shots in a film. Not only that, he was the first man to come up with films or making films from already made films. Like he was, cut pasting actors who normally wouldn't give you permission and stuff. So it was fine. He actually put Kamal Hassan in a movie called Pyasa Shaitan, which has already been made in Mallu. So it is insane. The movie was outstanding. It's one of my favorite films. And he has shot his parts. And Kamal Hassan, I think, had a fight with him. But you have to remember, this guy was unhinged as hell. He gave a tough competition to Sholay at one point with his film Ranga Kush, which is on a record called Ranga, which happened to actually influence Ranga and Billa, the serial killer. So you have to remember, he's one of our. I mean, I wish I had met him back when I was watching these films, but I didn't even know when he died until the Filmfare In Memoriam came in 2010. Rest in peace, Mr. Joginder Shetty. I love you. Jumping back, we again to 1999, we have Diane, a sexy and horror film by Mr. Gautam Dhariwal and Dharam. Gautam Dhariwal is the owner of Make Well Films or / Wellmaker Films. Those are both his companies. So Diane is, unfortunately, Mr. Raj Kiran's last film before he vanished off the face of the earth. And if you're a cinephile, it would be unfortunate, but if you're a cult film lover like me, I think this is a great swan song to go by. In the film, Raj Kiran plays an impotent man who is unable to satisfy two women, which he later kills and comes back as Diane. The film is insane, and this also belongs to a separate subgenre called Namarsploitation. Now, Namarsploitation was a recurring theme. Now, impotency was a recurring theme in B movies throughout the PSA era, but later it became a prominent theme with a film called Pyasi Nigahein with Mr. Annu Kapoor, where he's impotent, unable to satisfy his wife, who's later stolen by Sudhir. So he kills himself and comes back as an impotent ghost, slaughtering women all over the city. So that was an important marker which gave rise to these films. And Raj Kiran plays a very bad Goan Catholic with a very bad accent, and the film has a demonic Qawwali. The film has all those stars you've seen as villains in Border. The guy from the Pakistani tank, he's in the film. The film is insanely fun. I think I've seen this film multiple times on VCD, DVD and VHS formats. It's really fun. We have now it's very important to include Kishan Shah in this series for no reason. So this is a Kishan Shah movie called Today Expose. So one of the things that the Gulf film industry did when they were facing a lack of themes and stories and stuff, they would just like not lift, but be impressed. You know what? They would look at Bollywood and what's going on. So Today Expose is basically Kishan Shah's version of Page 3. So I am looking forward to watching this because Kishan is one of my favorites. Anybody who says his movies are too incoherent and illogical and just don't make sense is an imposter. And lastly, we have Badan. He is 18, she is 30. I have no clue what this film is about except that it's from Friends, which is an amazing label back in the day. And it has Mr. Harish Kumar on the cover, so that is a reason to watch. Harish Kumar is one lucky man. He has performed with Nylon Nalini, he has performed with Silk Smita, he has performed with Poonam Dasgupta, all the greats. And I don't know who the woman is here, but this guy is very lucky to be on screen with these fantastic women. So this looks like long before RGV did his thing with Jia Khan and Amitabh Bachchan, these guys were doing it. So I'm looking forward to watching Harish Kumar be naughty again. And that's it for this episode of Baba Jogeshwari's Criterion Kapat. I will see you very soon at Victor Library, and I'm hoping Arif Merchant forgives me.